Imagine sitting down on your computer, fingers ready, about to type in your password, maybe your credit card number, or just a private message. You probably think those keystrokes are, well, just between you and your device. But what if they weren't? What if someone else was silently watching every single character you typed? Welcome to the Deep Dive. We take your sources, unpack the topic, and really try to get to the core insights you need. Today, we're diving deep into the shadowy world of keyloggers. It's a type of malware that, well, it does exactly what it sounds like.
Yeah, it records your keystrokes, and often other things you do on your device, too.
Right. So our mission today is to cut through the noise, give you the critical knowledge about this hidden digital threat, and hopefully empower you with some practical defenses. And here's where it gets, well, honestly a bit unsettling. Keyloggers aren't just invisible software hiding out on your computer. They can actually be physical devices, too. Yeah. Secretly installed right into your hardware, which makes them incredibly hard to spot.
That's right. So let's unpack this and get you properly informed.
Okay, so starting with the basics. What exactly is a keylogger?
Well, at its core, a keylogger is basically a tool. It can be software or it can be hardware. And it's specifically designed to covertly capture, your keystrokes.
Just the typing.
Not always. It often goes beyond just typing.
Yeah.
These tools can also take screenshots of your screen, grab data you've copied to your clipboard, and even log your browsing history. Cybercriminals, they primarily use them to steal sensitive info. Things like passwords, credit card numbers, personal data.
For money, usually.
Mostly, yeah. For financial gain or sometimes for strategic reasons. But the real danger is how sneaky they are. They operate completely in the background. Often you've got no idea they're even there.
Okay, so if they're so good at hiding, how do they actually, show up? What are the main ways they can get you?
Well, broadly speaking, you've got two main types. The most common are definitely the software keyloggers.
Right, the programs.
Exactly. These are essentially programs that get installed on your device, usually through deceptive downloads or malicious email attachments, or sometimes by exploiting vulnerabilities, weaknesses in your system.
And once they're in?
Once they're in, they start logging your data, and then they often send it remotely back to the attacker. Could be to their server or just an email address.
Can antivirus catch them?
It can, yeah. Antivirus software often detects and removes them, but the really sophisticated ones, they're designed to evade detection. They might disguise themselves or, constantly change their code, makes them a real moving target.
Okay, and then you mentioned the physical ones, the hardware keyloggers. That just sounds creepy.
They certainly are. Hardware keyloggers need someone to physically access your device. Imagine a tiny little device, sometimes no bigger than a USB stick, and it gets discreetly plugged in, maybe between your keyboard cable and your computer. Or sometimes it's even embedded inside the keyboard itself.
Wow, inside the keyboard.
Yep. So because they need that physical installation, they're less common than the software kind. Often, they store the captured data locally, right on the device itself, so the attacker has to come back and get it.
They manually retrieve it.
Right. Though some of the newer, more advanced ones can actually transmit the data using Wi-Fi.
Okay, it's wild how they operate right at that basic level, the point of input.
Yeah.
How do they actually manage to intercept our typing? What's the technical trick?
Well, they basically work by intercepting the communication, the signals going directly between your keyboard and the computer's operating system.
Like tapping a phone line.
Kind of, yeah. Think of it like your keystrokes or signals, right? The keylogger puts itself in the middle, silently listening in on that signal path. And they can do this a few ways. For instance, they might replace your actual legitimate keyboard driver with a malicious one.
So it becomes the official interpreter.
Exactly. Or they might insert something called a filter driver into the keyboard stack.
Keyboard stack.
Yeah, imagine layers of software that your keystrokes travel through. The keylogger just slips itself in as an extra layer to read them. They can also intercept specific system functions, things called dynamic link library functions, or DLLs.
Okay.
These are little helper programs the OS uses for tasks, including handling keyboard input. So it's quite a low-level, stealthy operation.
That makes sense, acting like a secret middleman. Now, this brings up a really important point, given how dangerous they sound. Is a keylogger ever legal? Because it feels inherently, bad.
That's a crucial distinction, yeah, and a good question. Keyloggers can be legal, but only when used for legitimate purposes. And this is the key part, with proper consent.
Like what kind of purposes?
We're talking about things like security testing, where a company tests its own defenses. or maybe parental control software, or even employee monitoring in a workplace.
Okay.
But the absolute key is that the people involved have to be fully informed and they have to give their explicit consent.
So no spying.
Right. Using them without consent, especially to steal sensitive information, that's totally illegal and, frankly, highly unethical.
Got it. That clears up that gray area.
Yeah.
So with that clear, let's dig into the why. Why are the bad guys so interested in using these things? What's the real impact on us?
Well, the main motivation is pretty straightforward. It's usually about stealing sensitive information,
Right.
either for direct financial gain or maybe to achieve some other strategic goal. And what's really insidious about keyloggers, what makes them so effective for criminals, is they often bypass standard security measures like encryption.
How do they do that? I thought encryption protected us.
It does, but keyloggers grab the data before it gets encrypted. They capture it right as you type it before it's scrambled for sending over the internet.
Ah, okay. So they're getting the raw input.
Exactly.
So we're talking login details for pretty much everything. Email, banking, social media, work accounts.
Precisely. Keyloggers are designed specifically to capture usernames, passwords, credit card numbers, banking details, all that valuable stuff.
And then what? They just use it.
They can use it immediately for like identity theft or making unauthorized purchases, or very commonly they just sell it on the dark web. It becomes a product for other criminals.
Wow.
And beyond that, they can grab other personal info too. Social security numbers, addresses, stuff criminals use to open fake accounts or file false tax returns. The impact on victims can be really long-lasting and severe.
And it's not just individuals, right? Businesses must be huge targets.
Oh, absolutely. In targeted attacks, keyloggers are a go-to tool for corporate espionage.
Stealing secrets.
Yeah, stealing proprietary information. Think product designs, business plans, customer lists, or even just monitoring internal emails and chats. It can give attackers a massive competitive disadvantage over the target company.
That's a chilling thought, how deep that can go. And once a keylogger gets in, can it sort of open the door for more problems?
Yeah.
Like, is it just the start?
It often is, yes. Once installed, a keylogger can act as a critical foothold, like getting a foot in the door. From there, attackers can use that initial access to map out the network, find other vulnerable systems, maybe escalate their privileges to get more control, or even deploy other types of malware like ransomware. So yeah, keyloggers can be a really powerful first step in a much bigger multi-stage cyber attack.
Okay, now here's something that probably worries a lot of listeners.
Yeah.
We're always told to use two-factor authentication, 2FA, right? That it's our digital bodyguard. Can keyloggers actually get around 2FA?
Unfortunately, yes. Some of the more advanced keyloggers have evolved. They can now capture things like one-time passwords, those OTP codes you get via text or app.
Really?
They might capture it as you type it in, or sometimes they can even steal session cookies from your browser.
Session cookies?
Yeah, those little files that keep you logged into websites. If they steal an active session cookie, they might be able to hijack your logged-in session, effectively bypassing the need for the 2FA code at that moment.
Wow. So 2FA isn't foolproof against them.
It's still a very, very important layer of security, don't get me wrong, but it highlights that no single defense is perfect. These advanced keyloggers directly undermine what we consider one of our best defenses against password theft. It's like having the key to your house stolen, and then they also manage to grab the temporary code for your alarm system right when you punch it in.
Okay, that's genuinely alarming. So this isn't just theoretical stuff. There are real-world examples, right?
Yeah.
Big ones. What are some of the most notorious keylogger threats or incidents our sources mention?
Oh yeah, there's a whole rogues gallery. You've got Zeus, for example, also called Zbot, active from around 2007. Zeus wasn't just any malware, it was a real pioneer in the banking Trojan world. Stole estimated over $100 million globally. It basically wrote the playbook for attacking banks online.
100 million, wow.
And then there's Dridex, that emerged around 2014. Another banking Trojan. This one was famous for spreading through malicious macros and like Microsoft Word documents.
So clicking enable content in a Word doc could be really bad.
Exactly. It highlights the danger in seemingly harmless files.
And what about Hawkeye Keylogger? That sounds particularly nasty because it seems like anyone could get it.
It is. Hawkeye is a classic example of malware as a service, or MAS. Yeah, malware as a service. It means the creators basically sell or rent it out to other criminals who might not have the skills to build it themselves. It kind of democratizes cybercrime, unfortunately. Hawkeye is known for being sneaky and often spreads through big spam email campaigns.
Okay. And Dark Comet. That one sounds different.
Dark Comet was a remote access Trojan, or RAT, from back in 2008. A RAT doesn't just log keys, it gives the attacker complete remote control over the infected computer. Dark Comet got some notoriety because it was reportedly used during the Syrian civil war to spy on activists, which actually led its developer to stop distributing it because of how it was being misused.
Huh. And Project Sauron. That sounds like something out of a spy movie.
It kind of is. Project Sauron, also called Strider, was discovered in 2015. It's a super sophisticated cyber espionage platform, highly targeted, mainly going after government and financial institutions. Shows you the high-stakes game some keyloggers are part of.
And beyond the specific malware types, there have been some really striking incidents, haven't there? Like the bad trans worm?
Yeah, the bad trans worm back in 2001, it was a Windows worm spread rapidly, and one of its main jobs was installing a keylogger. It then sent the captured keystrokes out via email, often exploiting bugs in email programs. And what's really fascinating, around the same time, 2001, the FBI actually developed its own keylogger. It was called Magic Lantern.
The FBI?
Yep, for surveillance purposes, and it was apparently designed so it could be installed remotely. It just shows that the technology itself, while often used maliciously, is also seen as a tool by state actors, which raises all sorts of complex ethical questions.
Definitely. And it's not always malicious intent from the start, is it? Sometimes these things just end up places they shouldn't be.
Exactly right. There was a notable incident in 2017 involving HP laptops.
HP. The computer company.
Yeah. A security firm found a keylogger hidden away in the audio drivers on some HP laptops. It wasn't sending data out, just recording keystrokes locally, but still.
How did it get there?
It seemed inadvertent, like a debugging tool left in by mistake. But HP had to rush out a patch to remove it. It's a stark reminder that even big, reputable manufacturers can accidentally distribute these kinds of tools because the software supply chain is just so complex. These threats can pop up from really unexpected places.
Okay, all right, let's shift gears slightly and talk about the future, which sounds kind of scary. AI-powered keyloggers. Is this really happening?
It is, yeah. It's rapidly becoming a reality, and it's a really significant evolution in this threat landscape. Artificial intelligence is increasingly being used or explored to develop more advanced keyloggers. It represents a new and pretty complex emerging threat.
So when we say AI-powered keyloggers, what does that actually mean? Like, is AI writing the code itself?
That's definitely one aspect. There was research by Tenable, a security company, that showed AI models like DeepSeek can actually generate basic keylogger code and even ransomware code.
Just by asking it to?
Well, with specific prompting techniques, things like jailbreaking, the AI's safety controls, or using chain-of-thought prompts to guide it. But it's important to stress, the code generated usually still needs a human. Someone with expertise has to refine it, debug it, make it actually work effectively. So AI isn't quite building sophisticated malware autonomously yet. It shows the potential, but also the current limits.
Okay, but then there's this thing called Black Mamba. That sounds more advanced.
Black Mamba is, yeah. It's a proof-of-concept AI-driven attack that came out in 2023. It takes things a step further. It uses a large language model, an AI, to create polymorphic keylogging functions basically on the fly.
Polymorphic, what's that mean?
Polymorphic means it changes its own code every time it runs, so it looks different each time.
Which makes it harder to detect.
Incredibly difficult, yeah. For traditional security software, endpoint detection and response, or EDR systems that often rely on recognizing known malware signatures, known patterns, if the pattern keeps changing, it's much harder to spot. Black Mamba was designed to steal data, usernames, passwords, credit card numbers, and it often used platforms like Microsoft Teams to secretly send that data out. It's a glimpse into the next generation of threats because it constantly shapeshifts.
So if AI is helping build these really slippery threats, it feels like we need AI on our side too, right? To fight back. Is AI also helping us detect this stuff?
Precisely. That's the crucial counterpoint. Detecting and protecting against these AI-generated keyloggers means we have to move beyond just traditional methods. Signature-based detection, like looking for known fingerprints, it's often just not enough anymore because the fingerprints keep changing.
So what works then?
Well, things like behavioral analytics are becoming key, and AI-powered threat detection itself. Instead of looking for what the code is, these systems look at what the code does. They look for unusual patterns in how programs are running, weird network traffic, suspicious user behavior, things that might indicate a keylogger is active, even if its specific code is brand new or changing.
So AI fighting AI, basically.
In a way, yes. And the good news is security vendors are already on this. Antivirus solutions like Norton 360, Sophos Home, many others are already integrating AI and machine learning into their products for more advanced malware detection. So the defense is evolving alongside the threat.
Okay, that is a huge relief. So let's bring this back to the listener. What does this all mean for you? How can you actually protect yourself against these evolving, often invisible threats?
Well, the good news is there's a lot you can do. First off, your operating system itself has defenses. Modern OSs like Windows 10 and 11 come with pretty solid built-in protections. Microsoft Defender antivirus, for instance, uses machine learning, AI, cloud intelligence. It's actively trying to detect and block keyloggers in real time. It's a strong first line.
Okay, good. And then there are the third-party options too, right? Like standalone antivirus for another layer.
Absolutely. Robust third-party antivirus and anti-malware suites. Malwarebytes, Avast, Bitdefender, Kaspersky, Norton, McAfee, all the big names. They are generally highly effective. They use a mix of techniques, heuristic analysis, which is like looking for suspicious characteristics, signature recognition for known threats, and that behavioral monitoring we just talked about. It's like having multiple guards watching from different angles.
Makes sense. Beyond the software doing its thing automatically, what are some practical ways we can check if we suspect something might be wrong?
Yeah, you can do some manual checks. On Windows, you can open Task Manager or Activity Monitor on a Mac and look through the list of running processes. See anything with a weird name or something you don't recognize that's using a lot of resources. Google it. Investigate it. It might be something shady.
Okay, what else?
Your firewall can be helpful too. Firewalls monitor network traffic going out of your computer. If you see data constantly being sent to some strange, unfamiliar IP address, that could be a keylogger phoning home with your stolen info.
Right.
And for those hardware keyloggers, it really comes down to physical vigilance. You need to actually look at your computer's USB ports, look at your keyboard cable connections.
See if there's anything extra plugged in.
Exactly. Any little device you don't recognize, unplug it immediately. And, there are also some specialized anti-keylogger software tools out there specifically designed for this kind of detection.
Okay, so detection is one piece, but prevention is obviously better. What are the absolute essential strategies to keep keyloggers off our devices in the first place?
Right, prevention is key. First and foremost, use strong, updated security software. Keep your antivirus and anti-malware current and run regular full system scans. Don't just install it and forget it.
Number one. What's next?
Number two, and this is critical, enable two-factor authentication, 2FA, everywhere you possibly can. Online banking, email, social media. We talked about how advanced keyloggers might bypass it, but for the vast majority of attacks. Even if they get your password, 2FA is that crucial second lock on the door that stops them cold.
Okay, super important.
Third, be incredibly careful about suspicious downloads and links. Phishing emails, sketchy websites, these are prime delivery methods for keyloggers. Think before you click. If an email looks weird, if a download seems too good to be true, just don't risk it.
That basic digital hygiene.
It really is. Just being cautious goes a long way.
I've also heard about using virtual keyboards, like on-screen keyboards for sensitive stuff. Does that actually help?
Yes, it can be a smart tactic, especially for things like online banking. Some security software suites even include secure browsers that have built-in virtual keyboards. The idea is, if you're clicking the keys on the screen instead of typing on your physical keyboard, a standard keylogger might not be able to capture those inputs.
Interesting.
Another powerful technique, maybe more for businesses, but useful for individuals too, is application whitelisting.
Whitelisting.
Yeah, instead of trying to block bad software, you create a list of approved software, and only things on that list are allowed to run. It's very effective at stopping unauthorized programs like keyloggers from ever executing.
That sounds pretty locked down. And what about keeping everything updated? Not just Windows, but like everything.
Absolutely correct. Keeping your operating system updated is vital, yes. But also your applications, your web browser, even the firmware for your hardware components, like your keyboard or your computer's BIOS. Updates constantly patch security holes, vulnerabilities that keyloggers and other malware could potentially exploit. So keep everything up to date.
Okay. VPNs, do they help here?
Using a virtual private network, a VPN, is generally good practice for privacy and security. It encrypts your internet traffic. While it might not stop a keylogger from capturing your keystrokes locally, it can make it much harder for the keylogger to successfully transmit that stolen data back to the attacker, especially if you're on, say, public Wi-Fi.
Good point.
And finally, maybe the most powerful tool of all, just educate yourself. Seriously, awareness is your strongest shield. Understanding the risks, learning how to recognize phishing attempts, being smart about using public Wi-Fi for sensitive things, these are all crucial habits for protecting yourself.
Absolutely. And that leads nicely to a tool that I personally use all the time, and our sources mentioned it too, password managers.
Yes, password managers are an excellent defense against keyloggers. Why? Because they store your complex, unique passwords securely. And crucially, they often autofill login forms for you.
Meaning you don't have to type the passwords yourself.
Exactly. If you're not typing your password, a keylogger running on your machine can't capture it from your keystrokes. It significantly reduces the opportunity for the keylogger to steal those credentials. It's a huge step in reducing your attack surface.
Okay, so wrapping this up, we've definitely seen that keyloggers are, well, a really versatile and sneaky threat. They're constantly evolving, even getting boosts from things like artificial intelligence. But the good news is you listening now have, hopefully, a much stronger understanding of how they work, why criminals use them, and, most importantly, the robust detection and protection strategies you can use to build a much stronger digital shield.
Yeah, and your sources really underscore that being proactive is absolutely crucial here. It's not about being paranoid, it's about being prepared. By staying vigilant, by using strong layered security software, definitely enabling 2FA, and just being really cautious about what you click and download, you can significantly mitigate these risks and protect your digital life.
So, what does this all really mean for you? Maybe take a moment and consider how the simple act of typing, something so fundamental to how we interact online, can actually become a profound vulnerability. And it makes you wonder, right? What other seemingly harmless digital actions might be silently compromising our security? And what does that imply for how we need to think about and interact with technology going forward? It's definitely a thought worth mulling over.